Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another day of Scrim Zones. Last night we had a very convincing win from the side of Metabusters, taking down their opponent in a 2-0 victory. And today we're going to have a matchup between SKT and New York Nutbusters. Both these teams having different things going on. SKT I think both these teams actually are trying to make that push to eventually hit playoffs. It should be really interesting to see. I think both sides have very exciting players. A notable change for NYNB is that they've put Mike in over Psycho Carrot, so that is a change. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out, especially into Apari, who is jungling on the side of SKT. And Sandy, do you have any other thoughts on it?
I'm so excited for this series. I honestly think if you look at the remaining matchups that are going to happen for Season 11 of Scrim Zone, I think this is the most important game pre-playoffs. If you look at SKT, they're currently 2-3. But notably, they've won the head-to-head against One Thief and QC, two of the other teams aiming for that 5th or 6th playoff spot. And if they beat the Nutbusters today, they'll basically have their spot in playoffs secured. So if SKT gets this win, that'll be a huge boon to their chances of making playoffs, nearly guaranteeing it. And it's been some time since they've been in playoffs. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I do know they had a few seasons where they weren't even able to pick up a series win. So if they can win today, that would be a huge success for the side of SKT. On the other side of things, though, the Nutbusters made it to the finals last season, and they're having a pretty rough season so far. If they're able to pick up this win, that means they have the head-to-head against SKT, and then both teams will be looking to get one or two more wins in the season, competing indirectly for that last spot. But them having the head-to-head against SKT will be a big help for them. So this game kind of is the almost preview of who's going to make playoffs. So I think this is a hugely important series. Extremely excited to watch it. Very high stakes this game, more so than I think any other game that we'll watch before playoffs.
Yeah, very high stakes. I think for SKT specifically, they're 2-3. Like, you want to even out your record, get a bit more comfortable, put yourself in a prime position to try to get a very secure spot in preparation for the possibility that you do end up getting playoffs. And for New York Nutbusters, currently you're doing a bit less great than SKT. You're 1-4. You really need to try to you really need this head to head. It's as you said, this is a really important match for playoffs. You don't want to be dropping this series here. This is actually probably going to be also one of your easiest, if I'm being very, very, very blunt, it is going to be probably one of your easiest opportunities to try to cement your schedule and bring up your standings, so that when the challenge comes later down the line, as you are able to overcome the remaining teams that you're going against. But all in all, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I know that there are a lot of very exciting players to see. PB is I think is a really good support player for the side of NYNB. Plays from the games I've seen, the games I've played with him. He plays a pretty solid support game. So it is interesting to see how he does match up into Ray, who is quite exceptionally. And speaking of which, we are just getting into draft. So there you have it. Draft has started. And it should be interesting to see what the first set of bans are for NYNB. If they're going to try to target Tuxedo, or maybe they might just take away. Okay,
Lux.
no, they'll take away the Lux. And actually, interesting enough, I forgot to mention, Lithy is actually playing for SKT into NYNB today, so that is going to be a change from the game case. So it should be exciting
No
to see.
game case.
Yeah, it should be exciting to see. And take away Azir. Okay, no Aphelios.
I think we've seen a lot of teams target top and jungle against SKT. We've seen a lot of Viego bans and Kayn bans, and then Tugs has been consistently pulling bans in these games through Gwyn, Aatrox, Yone are some of the most common bans into him. But the Nutbusters are going for an interesting approach, banning out the bot laners, and they snatch away the Viego for themselves,
Yeah, Mike
effectively
has
taking out of the pool for the rest of the series, and they no longer have to spend a ban on it.
this is actually one of Mike's best. Actually, it probably is his best champion. So fortunate they are able just to get it. I mean, it probably is just, and also taking away from a party, it's also just really good. I mean, I just like the pick. Like overall, I mean, it's Mike's best champion. Party plays it, to a degree as well. So just take the pick, and it looks like Trundle Ezreal's gonna be the response. And I don't know quite
I can
how
see Trundle favoring the matchup into Viego. I can see that being quite good for Trundle. Ezreal, I think, is a comfort character for Nevada. I'm not entirely sure. But there's going to be a lot of things that you can pair with that, and it's going to be able to play into a lot of things. It should also be a hard kill to get for the Viego. Ezreal's very mobile and should be able to avoid a lot. And it looks like the Nutbusters opt for Xayah.
Yeah, actually am kind of, I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen many of our archived champions. I'm guessing that Xayah probably is one of them. I don't know how I feel about Xayah into Ezreal Trundle. I don't feel like
Yeah,
Xayah is
I
that good
think
into them. I mean,
traditionally
so they're gonna go Xayah Rakan.
Xayah is very anti-dive, and Ezreal's very poke. Poke beats anti-dive. Anti-dive beats dive. Dive beats poke.
But there's just the
So maybe a
Aatrox
little
on the
bit of a
board.
mismatch.
Yeah,
I'm so excited about this Aatrox. I think it's been banned most games Tugs has been a part of. I'm not exactly sure, but don't think we've gotten to see it too much this
um,
season.
I'm not the biggest fan on NYNB's bans. I feel like that you probably do want to take away that Aatrox on the Aatrox main, but Tugs is on it, so it should be comfortable. But I don't think Tugs is actually. Has he won? Actually, has he even won a game on it yet? I know he's lost one game on it. I can't remember if he's won a game though. However,
I'm not sure. Let me pull up the stats here.
yeah, there's gonna be the Cassidon ban, I guess, taking that away from anything. So we could possibly see like a very strong control mage maybe from side NYNB. They might be like angling for that. Try to maybe take away Cassidon, uh, and maybe take away another very strong um mid lane pool champion from Lithi. We'll see what they try to angle for. Orianna being taken away from Daniel.
And it does look like the only game that Tugs has played the Aatrox during the season was against Albert's Inferno, in which he lost. But it was still a strong showing. Cassidon Vagar bans from Nutbusters. I really did just ban the counter matchup, cover the Aatrox pick, and then opting to ban a blind in Orianna. So it looks like both teams are looking at a mid lane R5. Nutbusters trying to ban out potential counter picks for what they're planning to pick. SKT banning out strong blinds that would do well into
Yeah,
anything that they have available.
this man
They actually go
Ari.
for the R4 mid lane.
I actually
Opt for the
think
Ari.
that what would it be? I think that Silas would actually not be a bad pick here. Especially like looking at the champs that Ray does like to play normally as well for support. I mean Trundle ult and Ari ult are already just really two good ults you can take. I think Silas would be really good here. I think that or you can just and also like for top lane, I'm not quite sure what Blake has for top lane into Aatrox. It looks like they are gonna go
Ah,
Galio.
it's a bit of a self counter.
Yeah.
Ari is probably the worst mage to play against as Galio. She has true damage. She has mobility to escape your engage. She has a cancel for your charge and your taunt. So it's a bit of a tough matchup, even though
And they're
Galio
gonna pick
typically does quite well into
Garen into
mages.
Aatrox here. And I'll be very honest, I'm not loving NYNB's draft. This seems to be lacking in magic damage for one. And not only that, but you can actually probably end up taking a Randuin's, and it's gonna be good. It's again very good actually against NYNB if you're on the side of SKT taking randoms on any of the like the Aatrox, the
Yeah,
Trundles is
Garen
good.
and Viego both are kind of half crit characters. So Randuin's getting value into both of them as well as the Zaya.
Yeah.
Quite a strong pickup.
Yeah, and okay, so this one, okay, I mean, I like the Jonna pick. I think it's actually a really good pick here. It like really prevents a lot of like the Rakan and the Garen and the Galio from like really getting close, and does
I
punish
agree.
and does punish really well, as well as like providing a good amount of disruption.
I think Jinx and Viego are two characters that really need their team to help them look on that first kill. And I think the Garen is going to do an effective job at being able to burst down whatever target they find first, no matter how tanky they are. Rakan is great, and Rakan's great at starting a look, getting that first pick. Galio is great for follow up. And Garen can bring in some damage, but Janna provides a lot of disruption that's going to stop that from happening. I think the Nutbusters drafted a team that's pretty solid at getting that first kill, but this Janna pick, because so much of the damage, the CC, everything that the Nutbusters have is melee, Janna is able to disrupt that really well with the ultimate and then stall even longer with the tornado. So I actually think it's going to be really hard to play out these fights for the Nutbusters. I think I favor SKT's draft in this game one.
Yeah, I mean, I said before, but like, I think SKC's draft matches very well into NYNB's draft. I think that NYNB, like, if I can be like just a bit critical, I think that I don't like these first few bans. I feel like uh, that you really shouldn't be trying to target. Um, I don't think. I just think. I think Lux and Aphelios. I mean, maybe Nevada Aphelios. I can kind of understand the Aphelios a bit, but the Lux man, I kind of don't understand. I think that Daniel has a lot of good like champions that are just good into the Lux. LeBlanc being like one of them. Uh, Gwen is not. I don't. I think a Gwen ban's also kind of strange as well, especially if you like already planned on picking a Garen like later on in the draft. So I'm not quite sure how everything's gonna stack up. But
Sorry to interrupt. Have you gotten an invite to
I have
the
not.
game lobby?
Let me.
I want to make sure they don't start without us. That'd be a shame.
That would be a shame and very awkward if they did just start without us.
But yeah, I also think Janna is a nice pairing with the Ezreal as well. Janna is a character that, similar to Bard, is able to move around the map very quickly, get good roams off. Ezreal's a very self-sufficient character. I think Ezreal and Civ are kind of two of the ADCs that I think of that are very fine being left alone in lane. They're able to farm very safely. They have some tools that are effective for preventing dives. Especially against the Nutbusters team, which doesn't have any real point and click lockdown. I think Rakan is close enough to point and click lockdown with the Alt W or the Alt Flash. But other than that, very hard to land CC on the Ezreal.
Yeah, and
And the Ahri as well.
I want to be clear. I actually don't really hate like if New York Nutbusters, if like you didn't show me like SKTs, like if you didn't show me the right side of the screen, I would actually like NYMB's draft. I
I
actually do
agree.
like it. But because I'm seeing the right side of the screen, it doesn't feel like as nearly as good. Um, However, I think that the game for SKT can't become very hard if they aren't playing like very respectfully and NYMB get ahead. I mean, then again, like a bit ahead, accelerated Viego is always like extremely difficult to play against, as you're normally
Yeah.
like dying, and he's getting way too many resets, and the game just kind of like just devolves too quickly for you to do anything about it. But
I
I'm
don't
not.
dislike the idea of the Nutbusters draft. I think SKT, just with a couple picks, made some adaptations that are really effective into what the Nutbusters are going for. And I think I think the Nutbusters went in with a good strategy and stuck to it. And SKT was maybe a little more flexible, and that flexibility paid off. But I agree with you. I think this could be anyone's game. I don't think it's, such a hard draft to execute on, or I don't think the opposing draft on either side is so oppressive that you're not able to play. I really do think this is going to be a close series.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close series as well, and I am quite excited to see how the game like Garen does. Garen's always just such an interesting champion, a very simple champion, mind you, but it's always very interesting to see like the Garen kind of just running around just being a nuisance slash menace. Um, and I mean it's as you said, like the Garen like Viego synergy of like Garen like giving like assisting like just getting that first takedown for Viego, get that first reset, which amplifies Viego's damage by a lot during the team fight. So it should be exciting to see how this all ends up matching up.
We should also mention yesterday on the cast, we were with Snow from Metabusters, and we gave our prediction for this series. And I believe all three of us believe that this would be a 2-1 series in favor of SKT. So all of us expecting this to go to 3 games, and all of us expecting SKT to edge out the win. We'll see today if we're mistaken.
Yeah, I predicted I believe I remember I predicted a 2-1 victory for SKT. However, I do feel like the NYNB can fight back, and I mean if there is a game for them to fight back. Well, actually, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think they can fight back in this game. I just think it's really difficult to fight back in this game because I think that they. I don't know. I just don't. I don't agree with like the first few bans of their draft, but I think that for the most part, their team comp does make sense. It can work very well together. They just have to play very intelligently around the enemy champion's tools, which can be very disruptive to what their team comp wants to do.
I am also interested in just seeing this top matchup play out. I don't know how this matchup is favored. I think that this is going to be the most volatile lane and also the one that I know the least about. I'm not sure if any top lane players in the chat know if this is looking like a Aatrox favored lane, a Garen favored lane. I'd love to hear everyone's insight on it. See, Scott has said some stuff. Maybe Scott can provide the knowledge we need. Maybe Scott can provide the knowledge we need. Maybe. All right, we've gotten Scott's insight. Seems like Garen, if any jungle assistance comes, gets a very easy kill on the Aatrox. And I can see it. I can see a world where the Garen is able to escape the Aatrox Trundle gank as well. Garen does have the ability to cleanse slows, which will be very effective into Aatrox's W. Or well-timed Garen W, as Mason pointed out, will also provide tenacity to reduce the duration of the slow. So we'll see if Tugs is able to effectively survive this lane, or maybe provide an upset.
I would have normally thought that like Aatrox would have kind of just kited out Garen, like just do like like with the range with like the Dark Blade. But I guess like if you do really think about it, silence is kind of just a very strong ability versus a champion like Aatrox who has like multiple uses of one of his abilities. It's kind of like the same like thing with like Garen and Riven, where Garen actually beats Riven pretty handedly just due to the power of the silence.
Yeah, I do think you make a good point, though. Aatrox is able to play range more than a character like Riven can. I think a cautious Aatrox might be able to just space the Garen, stay right outside of his range. But as Scott said, the jungle presence is a big thing to look for in this game. I think every lane is one where jungle presence can make a big difference. dives onto the Ezreal when John is on a roam timer, locking down the Ahri with some Galio CC into Viego follow-up, or just a little bit of CC for the Garen to scream Demacia at the Aatrox. All good options for Mike's Viego. And it looks like we're getting into game now. Any setups that seem maybe out of place? Seems everyone's taking pretty standard stuff. I do think the Ezreal Cleanse is somewhat notable. Provides a way to escape the Recon Ult W combo. If you cleanse the charm instantly, you'll be able to E out in time on Ezreal. Lithi opts for Ignite into the Galio. Galio opts for, they say, for TP into the Ahri matchup.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, very interesting choice. I mean, I don't mind the Ignite. I think it's fine. I do have it like just taking this like the safety of the TP normally though, especially in like a lane with Galio, because there's like a chance like that things like maybe go awry because of the fact that there's a Viego in the game and like you do die and the other guy has TP and then like you end up just losing like a bunch of minions. But hopefully such things do not occur. And it looks like that early Grand Entrance actually onto Ray has a lot of damage actually traded onto him. Nevada trying to hit back, deal some damage onto Archive, but yeah, not quite ideal of a start for the Janna. But some really nice damage actually, really nice missing shots being landed inside of Nevada. But the Grand Entrance actually does land, and the heal is actually going to burn Flash Burn as well. And I'm not sure if Nevada's this is going to live much longer. It's actually no, they're not. As Archive actually gets first blood, and Ray trying to find the kill onto PB, but PB is doing a really good job hiding. Flashes for the Zephyr, just not enough damage. But yes, it is because the minions actually with the word in the witch, the minions will take him down as well. And Ray trying to live for a bit longer, but Archived fishing for maybe some type of kill, but maybe Rage is able to get out with the move speed. I mean, Archive does have Flash to follow, and no, not going to have to use it because there you have it. The feathers end up connecting. Ray goes down. A double kill for Archived in the bot lane.
A very hectic fight. You would not have expected an all-in the kind of way it happened. Kron able to get in to range after getting queued in the bush.
Just so much coming through, and the taunt coming in as well. Charm gonna go wide. Really nice trade for lift in the mid lane. And yeah, I mean, that like really not what you want to see in the bot lane. And it looks like there's just an invade from Blake, because why not? And a party getting forced off his camp, and Blake being very annoying as unfortunately Tuxedo got shoved in quite hard in top lane. So I guess you are just allowed to do that as the Garen.
Yeah, that's very rough. Oh, he's still here. This is a disaster for inside of SKT.
Yeah, disaster indeed, and I mean,
getting behind early on jungle is just so devastating. It puts you behind for the rest of the game. Enemy jungler will always be the place first.
Liffy's actually gonna get taunt on the Flash Silence as well! Lift over the top, and down goes Liffy! A really beautiful play from the side of NYNB.
I mean, huge plays coming out from the Nutbusters. Garen just sacking some CS to completely dismantle the
and actually Tuxedo might be in a bit of trouble here. Mike's in the area coming up right behind him, and I'm not sure if Tuxedo really is going to live much longer. We have some skirmishing on the bot side, but we're going to have to go to this top side, as it looks like that, yes, they have like begun to arrive here on the top side, but Tugs able to get himself out with the safety of that Humble Dash. But actually, he might just be fighting, and it looks like that Mike tried to fight back as well. The Conqueror is proc, but Mike actually having to flash away due to the dangerous nature of that Aatrox that you're
Huge play from Tugs, gets the crash in, baits the Garen and the Viego to follow. They're missing all that golden XP from the minions under their tower. And then when Garen eventually has to go back to catch the wave, Tugs forces a trade into Viego and gets the flash. Exactly what you want to see after you fall behind so fast.
Yeah, he's trying to hold away, but he actually gets knocked up at the Grand Entrance, and the play call might be enough, but an auto from PB is the take rate down.
Unfortunate stuff happening in the bot lane for SKT.
Going bad, the worst. Just Punch doesn't quite connect, nor does the Charm as well. yeah, things have just really, really gone poorly for them in the bot side. I mean, the Xayah already 3-0 with a 250 gold bounty on her. And an almost 2k lead for the side of NYNB. We're only 4 minutes into this game so far.
Yeah, this is, I think, the fastest the lead has emerged in any of the games this season so far. Really dominant performance from the Nutbusters. They've shown that they've done their research with the draft, taking away the Diego pick. And they've also kind of figured out a strategy to kind of take control of many parts of the map at such an early point.
Yeah, and it looks like that Apari is actually seems to losing his Raptors and probably his red next as well. Or they might just be like setting a trap for him. I mean, they don't know where the Galio or Viego are currently. But Apari, I'm not sure if he's going to end up entering this place cautiously. He does ward the bush before he enters top side of his jungle, but he does know his Raptors are gone. And I'm not quite sure what he's angling for next. And yeah, I mean, Mike gets the red, and so, yeah, that's just going to be the end of it. I mean, Apari's able to get his Krugs at the end of all of that, but looks like that there's just going to be a gank topside as it looks like that might be found out. However, he does have the world and if he chooses to use it, I mean, Viego doesn't have flash, and I'm not sure if he's going to go on this. But Apari is still a bit far and also very far behind in this jungle matchup so far.
I mean, this is truly a disaster situation for the side of SKT. Bot lane so far ahead on the Xayah. Galio's ahead, and I'd also like to point out this Galio opted for an Hextech Alternator, looking to go, I imagine, a Rocket Belt. First item here. Could be the Storm Surge as well.
Yeah, looks like actually another fight here. The Blade Call comes out, Root comes down onto Nevada, having to heal, get themselves out to safety. Both Ray and Nevada are able to keep themselves safe. Golden has popped actually. Tugs looks for a solo kill, but not quite able to find it as the Ignite isn't enough. And a really nice damage coming in from Tuxedo, but at the end of the day, Blake still living his best life.
Like choosing to stay. Galio's coming up.
Alright, Galio is coming up. I think that Tuxedo should respect the Galio roam, and I'm not quite sure if he is, but yeah, it looks like that lift has arrived, and looks like that they might slow chase onto this Aatrox, who notably doesn't have flash, still has a dash though, and trying to find him. The taunt actually is used, so they don't quite find him yet. But the Galio actually burning a lot of his abilities. Just as Punch comes out, nice damage from the Alternator. Blake not getting hit by that notable Q2 damage, and Tuxedo still with that Q3 looking for something, but no, not probably going to find anything at all, as it looks like it's just going to be sort of the classic Demacian Justice to take down Tuxedo, and the top side he falls. Another kill going over the side NYNB, but a lot of time wasted.
I wonder if Tugs could have just escaped there. Tries to stall out the play and look to potentially get the Garen for a 1-for-1.
It looks like Apari's
costing him his life.
Probably not much that he can do, as NYNB as Illicit Xayah, very scary so far. They will get rewarded for the efforts from an early drag. That's always nice.
Yeah, first drag being taken, 7 minutes in. Really nice when you can get a dragon on a timer where grubs aren't up yet. Enemy team doesn't have the ability to just trade it for another objective. You might see Nutbusters make a play onto the grubs as well to try and snowball their lead even further.
Death comes for you.
Further snowball as PSG very out of control. Side of NYNB. It looks like that Apari should be able to either get a gank or the grubs, and it looks like he's just gonna go. He might go look for the gank, but Blake forward. But he is calling multiple members. I mean, the Rakan is gonna be actually late to these grubs, and I mean Mike is here, but I mean the Tron is gonna arrive, and yeah, here it is. But here comes the Galio heroic entrance, but the Tron actually lands on the Lift, and Lift actually might be in trouble here. The Taunt and is able to flash out, keep himself safe, but both flashes burn from the mid and jungle, and that should just be 3 grubs for the side of SKT.
Crucially, Ray on the Johnny gets there before TV is able to get there on the Rakan. Ends up being a 4v3.
Yeah, look how it
Only a 4v2 even.
This punch goes in, actually the taunt goes in, but Ray wisely flashing away from it, but actually Apari's just going to get caught up in the end of it. The reset comes through, actually, Liffy burning out the Spirit Rush to keep herself safe, and at the end of it, Apari's actually missing. He's still keep himself alive. but really still it is nice to get an objective in a game like this. He was very poor as that play. Nice trade here on the
I don't know if it's
Tuxedo.
worth dying for though. Grubs only really provide kind of a golden XP benefit. They give golden XP themselves and they help you push faster, which is good for getting the plates. But I feel it's typically not the difference between getting a tower and not getting a tower. So if you're giving up golden XP to get golden XP, it's not what you want to see.
Looks like that they might look for something here. I don't know if they will. And no, they won't. Tuxedo playing a bit too safe and like that Blake and Mike not able to really do anything at all. They've decided to wait in this bush. I'm not quite sure for what, but maybe Tuxedo just walks up way past the wave and they're able to kill him. As it looks like they've decided that now is the time to go on the top side. And it looks like that's round 2 because it's come down to the silence. But still just a really far, I mean, that was a very interesting choice. Not able to quite find anything. I don't think the Aatrox really was ever in danger there. Especially
Tug's able to escape. Notably, I think if you're on the phase rush setup that Scott mentioned earlier in chat, the Nimbus Cloak movement speed allows you to chase it and get some more damage off and get the kill, but going for the higher damage and an all-in setup on the Garen with the Conqueror, I think it ends up costing a kill.
Actually, out comes the decisive strike onto Tuxedo. The Demacian Justice landing, not doing quite enough damage to take Tuxedo down. He's going to be able to live. But Apari has arrived on the bot side, and a really nice root actually onto Ray. He's actually getting killed before he can pop his Monsoon. He gets the very one part of it off, but it doesn't really matter because PB and Archived are just so powerful in this bot side. It doesn't look completely gankable in any stretch of the board. But Nevada nearly getting rooted by the Blade Caller, and Ray notably falling down in that little fight. As Justice Punch lands on the Limpy, and a fight actually break it because Mike has arrived, but doesn't have the ultimate, and might just get run down. Chomp, and the Viego is eaten right up by Apari. I'm not quite sure what he's planning to do there, especially with no R in the Viego. And Mike, you're gonna kill
like
over.
4 seconds on that play. Your bot lane's getting their wave under the tower. They'll be able to come and help you in a moment, but wasn't able to just yet. Ray stopping the proxy from Blake in the top side.
Yeah, and
Still a big lead for the side of Nutbusters, but I don't think they've been extending it quite as much as they were earlier on in this game. I think everyone's just waiting for this next Dragon Timer. I'd love to see whether or not we're choosing to contest or choosing to give. Canceling that base is huge though.
I'm actually going to choose to contest me as we can hit the Quilt Feather and get out to the Galleon, give him a small amount of healing. And Mike actually has arrived in the area. Notably now does have the Heartbreaker available, so...
How much money is Ari sitting on? I want to know whether or not that was the difference between Malignance. And it was.
It is.
Ari had the money for Malignance, was looking to base, come into this Drake fight with an item. Isn't able to thanks to the rocket.
Grand Rush actually goes a bit wide, and so does the Spectral Maw as well. As however, the quickness does land onto Apari, might be able to get charged up, and the Blade Fall might be enough. And yes, it is actually for the reset, and so the Heartbreak is actually available. And Limpy actually knocked it by the pillar. The Galliol heroic entrance coming through, and Ray actually might be the next target because guess what? He has no flash. Grand entrance coming through, Heartbreak onto Ray. The Monsoon doing nothing at all for anyone in any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, that's just probably just gonna be free Drake for the side of NYNB, and SKT just completely grouped in the wrong spot. I mean, both DC abilities missing for the side of NYNB, but they're still able just to pick up 2 kills.
Yeah, this game is another one of those games. I think if things go even, you're favored on SKT, but things just go so south so quickly. Ton of early macro decisions coming out from the side of Nutbusters. Gave a huge lead. Fights being one of the bot lane. And Blake's early roam was just so great. Getting a kill for the Galio. Stopping the Trundle. Ari's Trundle from being able to clear his camps. And I think not even losing that much ultimately. Maybe 4 creeps or something? Minions, my bad.
Yeah, 4 creeps, and Looks like that Blake actually, looks like that's the reverse of what's been happening, so what's going to happen to him, as he does actually end up burning the Judgment with it, maybe trying to like spin his way out, but it's not going to do anything. The Darkened Blade comes down on top of him, shut down, going away with the Tuxedo.
Very big pickup for the side of SKT. Something might be happening bot lane.
Tuxedo actually getting himself a lot of gold. I mean, able to take
Item
down...
advantage on the Xayah. I'd love to see them try and push their lead. Looks like they're just trying to slam wave and get some plates. I think the other important thing about Xayah getting this ahead is it makes it hard for the Janet to leave and get those roams I was talking about before the game. When the Xayah does this much damage, Ezreal is actually more vulnerable to those two-man dives than you would be expecting in this matchup.
Looks like that Mike looking for some fight here. Ahri doesn't have the subjugation available, so a bit of danger, but also on one hand, it looks like that. Actually, no, wait, Mike goes in anyway, but not able to get the kill on the Ahri as he actually gets taken down as well. And Liffy maybe another part of the reset, but however, Blake flashing forward, looking for a kill. Demacian Justice lands, but Tuxedo is still quite strong and quite powerful. The taunt connecting, and Daniel actually with the heroic entrance trying to get away. The Ignite actually taking down Ahri as Blake takes him down the other side. Demacian Justice Punch coming back through. Tuxedo not quite able to do damage. Good move from Lit, however, he gets taken down by the second part of the Darkened Blade. And I'm actually, I think you're happy if you're SKT getting those two huge kills.
Yeah, good 2 for 2. I will say I think it could have ended up better for them. Oh.
Yeah, and actually the quickness is popped, and Ray might be in a bit of trouble. The Blade Call actually doesn't quite connect, though. It looks like the Archive actually might have bit off a bit more than she can chew, and maybe Nevada goes for it as well, as things have gone a bit more dubious and a bit more dangerous, and maybe this could be it. The Blade Call coming through. A big tornado actually, but the Feather Storm still comes through in the end, and that's going to be a double kill for the bot lane of NYNB. A second time in a row in this game.
I mean, I think ultimately that's just the wallet difference right there. Very close fight, but the extra gold on the side of the Nutbusters ends up making the difference there.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Startup power activate.
Yeah, and so far in this game, it appears that things just look very like, it looks like, I feel like a lot of these fights, if they were even, actually SKT would win, but just because of that gold lead, that wall of difference, like, they're just winning a lot of the time, and it doesn't even feel very close at all.
Yeah, the early lead was monumental. I think some of these itemization choices are good to look at, though. Luffy's opting for the same Short Cruise Malignance into what I imagine a Shadow Flame build that Snow went for yesterday on the Ahri.
And actually, an Arcane shift forward from Nevada. I'm not sure if you want to take that, especially against a Xayah that's this strong. I mean, PV was in the area as well. Godlike now, archived on this Xayah, and that was really an unwise decision from the side
I mean,
of
it's
Nevada.
1 item to 2. It's
The
close.
goes wide onto Blake, but the subjugation comes through, and maybe this Garen actually is taken down. But it looks like no, they're just going to be happy to settle for the Rift Herald. But at the end of the day, it looks like they are able to get a turret in the bot side.
How do you deal with this Xayah now? If you're on the side of SKT, what tools do you have to deal with someone this far ahead?
I mean, it feels like that Archive's just gonna have to get hit by like some like heavy form of CC. Like it's gonna have to be either like a Jornado or like Archon, and then just change into like some other form of CC. It feels other than that, it's not really easy at all. I mean, they don't have like many like easy CC tools available. They really only have like, I mean, they do have like, I guess, the displacement from the Trundle Pillar and also like the Aatrox like knockups, but I don't really think that matters that much, especially when you're playing Xayah. You know, playing so far back already. I think that the only way that they really like kill it is like if it's like a Jonathan Tornado into an Archon. But other than that,
Yeah, gonna be very, very hard. Xayah, of course, has the option to dodge one of those
here
spells.
Because it arrived. Janna has arrived, and Ray Leaving Blake around, and yeah, here is everyone. As it looks like that Blake has decided that he actually might just kill Licky instead. And yeah, Demacian Justice taking down the Ahri, and there's the killing spree, but no killing spree no longer, as it is a shutdown, or was marked as a shutdown, but I guess it's a very tiny shutdown for the side of SKT in the top side.
If you run to the Janna, Janna's able to shield you, use the ult to heal you, but ends up running away from the Janna to try and escape
really
the
nice
Garen, but Garen's already in range.
Yeah, I mean, not quite the wise decision. You really don't want to be falling down to that Garen, especially when it is a 3-on-1. It doesn't feel like you can really die realistically. But Lithy does end up falling down. Not great at all for the game. And it looks like Nevada spotted out the end of the Mike flashes forward. The cleanse is actually very nice from Nevada, but the Heartbreaker comes through, and there's a kill. But the turret is actually aggroing, and the Arcane shifts forward, but the Subjugation comes through, and using the Heartbreaker to get himself out of there is Mike. And actually, yeah, the Nevada has arrived, legendary as well. Ray with the Monsoon, maybe he can get away, but it actually just might be another kill, and it doesn't look like it is. A really nice tornado to interrupt the Justice Punch, keeping Ray himself alive. And it looks like that Tuxedo has arrived, but the Fetish Storm isn't available anymore. But the summoners for the Xayah are, and actually this might just be able to kill onto the Xayah Archive. Wise is flashing away, but Lithy over the wall, and I'm not sure where the Spirit Rush is coming through, but it's not going to come through at all, as I guess Tuxedo is just going to be slain at the end of it. The Heartbreaker comes through. Tuxedo, I think, is getting baited by his team. I'm not quite sure why the Ahri just didn't go in there.
I'm surprised as well. Maybe there were some cooldowns that we weren't aware of, but definitely looks like the Spirit Rush was available. I was definitely expecting some sort of initiation there.
For the Galio, but it looks like that should just be the kill. There it is, and actually Nevada getting taken off on the opposite side as Blake. I don't think Blake actually had to die there, but I mean,
I don't think he did either. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to escape. Not exactly sure. Living on just a little bit of HP from that first tower shot. This game is very hard to play. Baron's up right now. The Nutbusters could look for a play on the Baron, but they might just go for the Dragon. If you lose the Baron, it's a bit more of a toss than if you lose one Dragon. So it's a little safer to just wait things out. But I do think, I mean, 7K, I guess it's closer to a 6K gold lead. Very sizable.
PB actually might have been found out here all alone. Already used the Grand Entrance. Might try to burn Flash as well. And actually probably not able to do that, but no, actually has Grand Entrance available again. But it looks like that Nevada should be able to shift forward and possibly pick up a kill here, but no, gets to the safety of his team, keep the Galio there. So should be alright at the end of it. But Tuxedo really wanting to get these plates, but it looks like that Daniel should be able to deny him.
Three items now on the Xayah. 3 items on the Viego as well. And as you mentioned, a lot of crit items coming out. Randuin's would be the premium defense item for SKT to buy here, but need a little bit of money to buy items.
You need a little bit of money to buy items, and things...
It's not something they have great quantities of.
Things too great so far. In the item purchasing department, but I will say, for the side of SKT, they really are. I'm not sure with anything. I mean, this one's actually blocked out by the villain, and GB actually has been found out as well. I mean, the quickness is here, but a lot of damage actually on the recon. Looks like that they might just chase forward for the kill. The heroic entrance doing the magic shield actually, and Lithy flashing away from that. It looks like it should just be a kill, but a nice taunt actually coming out from Daniel. And you're wondering, like, if all this worth it might be in the end. I mean, they get the turret and they get the kill. However, they do lose both their tier 2 mid and top turrets. So I'm not quite sure if this is going to be very worth it yet. I mean, like, it should just be the Drake.
Very well played from the side of the Nutbusters, though. Able to stall that long in a 2v5 situation like that.
Here comes the Garen, the Xayah's arriving as well. I mean, the NATO does land onto Mike, but now the NATO's not available anymore. The Monsoon's going to be burned. Try to keep him alive. And it looks like how the silence is coming through, so that means actually Apari can't really smite because the Drake's just going to be stolen by Mike, and it's just going to be a clean sweep. I mean, Archive just continuing to be legendary, taking down Liffy. I mean, Pari falling as well. Just things when you think that they're looking up, just look down instead.
Yeah, every play that looks like it went the way of SKT, its immediate consequences get punished. Cooldowns used means you're able to flip for a fight.
Yeah, but actually, it looks like that Blake's just going to get engaged on here. And it's a lot of damage coming out, and Blake, you're not as strong as you think you are. And the Baron slowly getting taken, but not really contestable. I mean, Mike is up, and Ahari is not. Yeah, that's just going to be Baron going over to NYNB. And so far in this game, it's just looking so convincing. I mean, I feel like it's one of those games where it feels like one team just really knows how to play their comp, and the other team doesn't at all. So despite like one draft being favored, like at the end of the day, what's ended up happening is NYNB has just played their comp extremely well.
Yeah, everyone recognizing what they need to do in these fights, and just the game in general. Creating space for their team in a way where they're able to accept the fact that they're on the losing side of a fight or a play, and do everything they can to make it so that the other side of the map is winning.
Yeah, just as much actually landing onto Nevada here. But the Zaya is still slowly but surely chasing, and Trainer doesn't quite connect onto anyone, but a huge objective bounty in the top side being claimed for the side of Tuxedo. As this game, everyone's just here except Blake. Actually, my turn for a 5v4 scenario. And Baron is on, and Tuxedo actually has the flank, and Archive might be in a bit of trouble. Has both summons available. Creditstone's also available. Blade Caller should be able to come out, and the damage should be coming through. Mike actually gonna pick on the right side onto Nevada as the taunt actually lands on both Hardy and Tuxedo. The Blade coming out, but the healing coming through with the monster. Maybe not enough. The Grand Entrance coming through, knocking on multiple members. As it looks like that, Mike just getting more and more kills with a triple kill already in this fight, and the taunt not quite letting on Tuxedo, but just as much is a bit falls a bit tiny bit short, and it looks like Mike chasing for the kill should be able to get it. Flash Heartbreaker, Tuxedo falling down, quadra kill from Mike, and the NYNB scored an ace in this game.
Great CC chain coming out from the side of the Nutbusters. Able to stall long enough to force the Aatrox to use the entire ult timer without getting a reset.
Inhibitor has been destroyed.
I think this is probably just going to be game. Can't imagine this game ending any other way.
I don't think that there's any contest, and they have the Baron Bow. It's just time to hit the Nexus, ladies and gentlemen. Blake might just die another time for fun. He does. And there you have it. Very convincing victory for the New York Nutbusters, and a quite disappointing defeat for the side of SKT.
Man, what a game. I genuinely think that was the highest level of coordination I've seen in a Scrim Zone game so far. I genuinely think there were so many plays that involved multiple members on the side of the Nutbusters very early on into the game that just created huge waves in the rest of the game, making it so that SKT never really had a time to catch back up. They're doing a great job trying to prove us wrong on the cast yesterday with our previous predictions.
Yeah, trying to prove us wrong on the cast. I mean, this was a game, I guess, where New York Nutbusters really showing that to SKT that this isn't just going to be some easy win for them. They're going to have to really have to work hard for this. Should be interesting to see how things play out in the end of all of it.
I think if SKT doesn't adapt their strategy, because clearly something wasn't working on the side of SKT. I think conceptually I like their draft a little more, but there needs to be some sort of plan or execution that makes them a little less scattered, that allows them to play out the game in a somewhat even state during the mid game. Who do you think it might be for MVP in this game one? It's so hard to make a choice.
Well, I mean, I think Mike played an exceptional game, but I think that I mean, Archive just didn't really make a mistake and played exceptionally in lane. And I mean, the head Zayas would like let them like make all their plays around the map effectively. I mean, the Zaya showing up to all those fights as well was like very critical. I mean, in the right spot, at the right moment, playing things correctly. I mean, I would just give it to Archive if I'm being honest. And don't get me wrong, I think it's really close. I think Mike actually played also a very exceptional jungle game. I think that that the call to like just push Apari off his camps, set him behind even further with the winning bot side, was actually just a critical decisive factor in that early game that allowed them to just get so far ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm perfectly fine giving the MVP to Archive. Played a great game, 0 deaths, very well executed. But I'd also love to shout out the rest of the team. No ADC success happens without the help of their support. So I'd also like to shout out PB during that game. And I also think play of the game, or maybe even play of the season for me, was that level 1 roam from Blake. Or I guess level 2 or 3, I'm not sure exactly when it happened.
I think it was a level. I think it was level actually. I think it was level 4, invade from the Garen. Or which one?
Could have been level 4.
The
very early on when you go to Apari on the red buff, first clear for the jungler. They're taking their, I think it was just the 5th camp. I think they went for the red buffs before the Krugs. And disrupting that, stalling for like 20 seconds, letting the enemy junglers clear, and then getting a kill on the Galio, making the unfavorable matchup much, much more playable. I think that honestly created a shift in tempo that allowed Mike to play the game easier. It allowed Daniel to play the game easier in that matchup. I think bot lane, usually top lane is the lane that people talk about as being separated from the rest of the game. But I think that game was actually bot lane. The top quadrant kind of had a lot of stuff going on, and bot lane just slowly developed their lead. So I'd say overall MVP, I'd agree with you. I'd give it to Archived, but I think I just love to shout out Blake for that first play. I know I'll be watching that back after we finish casting.
Yeah, and something else I guess to think about is the fact that excuse me, hold that thought, because actually it looks like that SKT has decided to select blue side going into game number 2. So they actually do want the priority in the draft. We're trying to pick something very strong early. And what I mean, I feel like that. I'm not quite sure if what necessarily would be better. I mean, what do you think? For the.
I mean, as I said, I honestly don't think that was a draft issue for the side of SKT. I think it was an execution issue. I think there needs to be some sort of reshaping of their plan and their goals going into the game. I think that's a situation where you draft a team, but you don't really know. I don't think each player knew what they needed to do in order to make that draft work. Whereas, as you said, I think the side of the Nutbusters had a very clear idea of what they needed to do, and they executed on it very well. So I'd say if SKT are able to have a clearer vision for what they need to do, we might hopefully get a closer series for this game 2 and 3, if a game 3 happens. Looking like it might not at this point.
I mean, that was a very, very convincing one from the side of NYNB. I'm not quite sure how things could and would play out. Give me 1 second. I think we are going to be in draft here very shortly. The draft. Excuse me. I am fixing the assets. The draft is currently flipped, so just mind that as you will.
As your first ban from SKT, I believe we saw this last game. Aphelios first. Last time it was the Lux. We're going to see if they decide it's not worth banning the Lux out. Notably the red side, they might swap out the Lux ban for the Kayn ban to lock Apari out of their second most comfortable character. SKT bans out the Azir, bans out the Braum. Actually goes for the Irelia over the Hui. Last time they banned the Hui, might be looking to first pick it here. Now that they're on the blue side. Nutbusters do up for the Lux third. Keeping their bans the same as they did in game 1. And SKT does take the Hui away from the Nutbusters. I like this as well. Last game we saw New York Nutbusters on blue side taking away a valuable pick in the Viego. Now we're seeing SKT do a little bit of mimicry here. Taking away the Hui, very strong blind character. Doesn't really have any matchups that are that bad. Do think the Cassid is quite strong into it, but I'm not sure if we'll be seeing that come out. Lee Sin Jin. Very different from what they drafted earlier. Very different style. But a very exciting one to watch for sure.
Yeah, very interesting style indeed. And
I do think Hui is pretty effective at stopping initiations, however. Has the ability to fear, which cancels the Lee Sin dash. We'll also see some really fancy plays in order to avoid the CC from the side of SKT. Jin Zhao and Yone being picked up here. Imagine this is just tugs on the Yone top lane. Can't really go anywhere else. This is a classic pick for him. Last game, the Aatrox was picked up. And it was a bit of a hard matchup there. I think Blake ended up using the early priority to make a lot happen. We'll see now. I imagine... I mean, this Nefiri could be going mid or it could be going top. It could be response to either. I think top is more likely to me. I think the Nefiri being able to do kind of the spot dodge on the third Q from Yone is quite good. Whereas Hui has a more effective tool for canceling your engage through your ult with the EQ. But it could go mid as well. Vayne being banned out here.
It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to go for here. Taking away the Jace. And I'm not really sure if you really need to ban the Jace. I feel like that.
I disagree with that. They're 3 AD. They're looking, I would imagine, at least to pick a magic dealer in the mid lane.
Yeah. I was worried that you said you disagree with me. I was like, wait a second.
No. I disagree with the idea of banning the Jace.
I concur with that opinion. I mean, the Jace is just... feels like you don't really need to ban something when they have so much AD, like heavy already. And another Orianna ban.
Orianna coming out. That's more what I would have expected for a ban. I'll be curious. I imagine the mid pick is coming through here, saving R5 for support. But they may believe in the Hui flex between mid and... Oh, wow.
Okay,
Picking the Akali. This is a fine matchup, assuming the Hui and Akali are both in the mid lane. Hui does have a form of True Sight, which is always something that is hard for Akali to deal with, and a reliable form of CC. And it looks like the Hui will be flexed into the bot lane. They'll pick Talia. This Talia pick, I think, is maybe overvalued into Akali. Akali kind of has a very long dash animation with the ult. So you being stunned during it, most of the stun duration will actually be used while you're dashing. It's not nearly as threatening as something like a Poppy.
And they actually picking a Thresh. It's always exciting to see a Thresh in the game. I think it's very enjoyable to see. Like, I mean, I'm not sure how good Ray is at Thresh, but it's always exciting to see the champion being played. And it looks like an Alistar response from the side of NYNB, which I actually like a lot. I think Alistar is really good here, especially against champions like White and Talia.
I'm
it's
not
also
sure. Is Alistar able to W through the Talia, E, the threaded ground or whatever it's called? I can't remember. Is Alistar able to ult to cleanse the stun during the dash and then still get the Q off before the W pushes people back, or is that not how the interaction works?
I don't think I actually think you're stunned technically, so no. But like you'll move through. But like if you W onto someone,
But your ult
you'll
is
end up.
able to cleanse. I'm just
Yeah.
not sure whether or not you have enough time. The ult does have a somewhat lengthy cast time. I think whether or not that interaction works in favor of Alistar is kind of the decider of whether or not I like this pick. I think you do want a bulky frontliner support, but I'm just not sure that Alistar is the one I would have liked the most.
Yeah.
I
Unraveled
think
Earth
something
is a very annoying
simple like
ability.
the Leona would be very nice here.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I could definitely see Leona being pretty good here.
I just think having that long range start to the fight to allow your Jhin to follow up on, as well as your skill shots from Lee Sin and Akali, if Akali opts to start the fight with the E, can be very effective. With how much dive and burst this team has, I think Leona ult is kind of just a kill button. But the Alistar combo is very similar in functionality. I just think it might be a little bit harder to pull off into the Poppy.
Yeah, definitely going to be a bit more difficult, and we are going to take a bit to get in the game. Looks like there is a bathroom break, so it is what it is.
They have confirmed it is the Nefiri top and the Akali mid. I think it would have been possible to flex the Akali top lane. It's a really favorable matchup into the Yone. Just the way the ranges on the Qs work and the general trade patterns of Akali makes the matchup very, very favored for her. One of her best, one of Yone's worst. But they do decide to send it mid lane into what I'm assuming will be a Talia. And I don't know, I'm having a hard time. I think generally when I see two, or even just when one of the teams is very squishy, I have a hard time evaluating how well they'll be able to team fight, because I think it comes down to a lot of really precise execution. I think it gets quite hard to play fights in a very consistent way. I think you need to make a lot of split-second decisions when you're playing a squishy team like this. On the other side, though, you have a classic frontliner character in Jin Zhao, able to ult to prevent most of the damage coming his way. Notably, though, the only character that's really going to be damaging you outside of the ring is the Jhin. So I actually think Nutbusters won't be having much trouble with that pick.
Yeah,
What do you
and
think overall about the drafts, though?
I feel like that. I don't know how I feel about it. I think Akali's actually. I mean, I gave you like your initial assessment of Akali for the first three picks. It's fine. Um, I feel like that this game is actually not a very easy game for Jin. But like, well, then actually, the nice thing about it is like if our character does play the Jin game very well, you get very highly rewarded in this game. Because all the targets generally aren't that tanky, so you can do a ton of damage, which always feels nice on Jin when you don't have to like fight against any tanks at all. Because I feel like tanks are just a very true and real counter to Jin, but they're not in this game, so don't have to worry about them.
Yeah,
Um,
no true tanks, but a lot of defensive itemization is possible, I would say. I think Hui often will go for Leandry, which gives HP. I think Talia is most likely going Seraphs, which provides a big shield. Yone is going to be going the Immortal Shield Bow, most likely. So none of them are extremely tanky, but all of them have a little bit of bulk. They're not quite as squishy as, you know, traditional marksman or traditional mage would be. But I do agree that Akali's damage will be enough even with those defensive items, unless SKT is able to see a big lead, in which case the extra levels and gold will make it so that they're not able to be bursted down. I think this is going to be another game that comes down to the early game, as we saw in game 1. Last game, we saw the Nutbusters excel in the first 5 minutes of the game, creating a gulf between the team's net worths. We'll see if they're able to do it again, or if SKT is able to mimic the Nutbusters and win out early game.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see like how SKT does end up winning. I feel like that if this game does go later, you're gonna be very comfortable with SKT's team's comp. Excuse me. Generally, you have a very nice scaling comp with the Hui, the Yone. Both those champions just love items, love getting them. And this is going to be a Hui bot lane, so you're going to have the access to that 6 item slot, notably, which is like all the more greater for you. However, I do feel that NYNB
it's a Talia bot, I think.
Oh, it's a Talia bot. Excuse me.
I am seeing that Nevada is playing Talia and Lithi is playing the Hui, unless they did a lane swap that I missed. At least the players.
Talia bot.
The players may have done a swap, so we can't be sure who's where.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all.
How does that change things? I mean, Talia ADC is not something I traditionally see.
Well, I guess Talia will have access to that 6 item slot, and we'll get the tier 3 boots, which not bad. But I don't know. I feel like that you're happier actually if you're NYNB, if you're Jin Alistair going against Talia Thresh. I don't think Talia has as nearly as much utility in a 2v2 as she does in a 1v1.
Yeah, notably, Talia also needs to use a ton of spells to clear the wave. Very, very good at one-shotting waves, but it just requires to dump your entire kit into it. That might make you very vulnerable. Alistar in a bush could get an initiation. Jin can follow up with a root into another Alistar stun. You might be a sitting duck if you are trying to just slam these waves and get priority, as mage bots often do.
Yeah, personally, I'm hoping for a close game, a fun game. It would be nice if this could go to 3. I feel everyone would share that sentiment. See a bit more out of these teams. First game felt very one-sided, but hopefully going to this game 2, it should be a bit more exciting to see a much more closer game and a much more game that's on the edge. I feel like everyone's been kind of missing or just been fiending for a game on the edge. I mean, we got very close to something like that. Well, I wouldn't say quite yesterday, but I got something. The closest actually I can remember recently is would actually be the Snarkify Rift Shark series with that game 3, which is
was a very close series.
As close as it was going to get. The first 2 games felt, however, quite handedly won by either side, but then that game 3 also was a very, very fun game to watch and cast. But without further ado, it looks like we should be getting into game shortly.
I'm hoping tomorrow's series is close. AI versus QC. If you just look at the records of both teams this season, it looks like it's not going to be close at all, but I do think you can never count the previous winners out. So I'll be looking forward to watching that game. Might be able to cast it as well, I'm not sure yet.
I won't be able to. I might be playing in that series, unfortunately.
That makes sense.
But
enough about tomorrow's series. We have game 2 beginning. The Nutbusters versus SKT. 1-0 advantage for the Nutbusters, looking to close out the series with another win.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Tugs looks a little bit AFK right now.
Yeah, well, it looks like he is back,
Minions have
however.
spawned.
And excuse me, I dropped the scoreboard on accident. But yeah, he is back. So good for him. Probably not too big of a deal. I mean, waves come out so quickly that
I mean, giving up the bush priority in top lane is actually pretty meaningful. I think Neferi's probably going to be able to force it either way, but
yeah. Actually, a nice exhaust inside Tuxedo. Actually gonna have to force out Blake's flash very early on.
that's a classic cheese from Neferi.
Yeah.
Using your burst of AD that you get.
Actually, the
Hail
Q3
blades.
doesn't quite land on anyone, but Tuxedo is still very strong. Blake has no way out of this. I mean, the Q3 should be able to connect very easily. And yeah, there's the kill. First blood in the top lane for Tuxedo. Blake trying to get away with that cheese, as you said, and getting punished heavily for it.
Tugs was very prepared, taking the exhaust in this matchup. It's a lot of presence of mind to know that Blake's going to be looking for that. It's going to be a huge deficit if you're playing behind, but instead just turns it around and gets a huge lead early on in this game.
And actually, the Deadly Push does end up connecting onto Nevada, but a nice death sentence from the side of Ray to prevent any further autos coming in, but still, looks like just a very hard winning. And a 4-shot actually landing on Nevada as well, as spot side trading actually looking really good inside, and it actually with the headbutt pulverized combo actually landing onto both. And it's pretty much coming back onto PB, but he has plenty of biscuits and potions to keep himself very healthy.
Both sums gone though from Nevada. It's pretty unfortunate, especially when you're able to kind of force these fights as much as the Nutbusters are. PB just jumping in on the Alistar. Warcraft gets the follow up with the W. Being very effective, and I think it's just so quick, it's hard to react to cancel the initiation with the Thresh Flay. But I think it only takes 1 or 2 really meaningful cancels to turn this lane around, as they're holding the wave bot.
Nice hold on the bot side as
Got their wave in a good position as the junglers are coming down. And it does look like Mike is going to be the first one to clear their camps. Level 4 to level 3 advantage.
so far. Behind the back way, the Death Sentence, Flash Forward, Death Sentence actually comes out onto the Alistar. But I'm not sure if you really want to look for that. I mean, the Alistar trample is coming through, but the Unraveled Herb actually stunning PB critically. And it looks like that they might be going with the gore. But the 3-talent strike knockup, flashing forward, Apari actually doing that. Going forward, but the Tempest trying to get the kill. Mike's actually not being able to do it. Actually, this is being beautifully played on the side of SKT, netting themselves 2 kills. Death Sentence not quite able to connect as, oh man, things were just not quite what you want to do there. Archive actually
Great plays at a range that baits Lee Sin back in, earning them another kill in what would have just been a 1-kill fight. I thought that was going to be a disaster considering the level disadvantage in the jungle, but ET ends up coming out ahead of a major way in that bot lane fight as top is trading. Tugs is pressing his lead, hasn't based yet.
Looks like playing in the wave intelligently as Mike actually might be in a bit of trouble here. Blake's also waiting in the lanes, but things are starting to look more dangerous. And the lethal tempo's all stacked up. Tempest comes out. And it looks like Tuxedo might be able to play this. I think the snapback actually should have it, and maybe he's able to get it. But no, very so close. But the Iron Will from Mike actually keeping him alive, but not able quite to pick up that kill. Tugs doing everything he
I think
can.
if you don't wait out the shield, or if you don't wait out the E kill before the shield comes back up, could have maybe even gotten the Neferi. Wouldn't have gotten a level up, notably. So it wouldn't have given an extra burst of HP getting the kill in the lead, but so getting one point there would be nice.
Yeah, and actually definitely on the archive, but Paul actually does end up taking on the Ray with a trample stun continuing as well. And it looks like that actually Apari has just found Mike in his own jungle and just takes him down on his own Raptor camps, but it looks like that the collapse is starting to come through, and Lift actually being feared in the wave bubble and actually taking a notable amount of damage, but still Apari still here and does have the winner strike. Wouldn't becomes lightning, but not going to do anything because he's shut down from the side of Blake, and it looks like the Deadly Flourish does connect, but actually no CC was there initially, and the trample doesn't come through, but actually PB's just going to be taken down at the end of it, and Archive with a bit of damage. Maybe he can kite out something, maybe he can do something here, as it looks like the damage is coming through, the barrier's burned, and yes, the flashes as well, but Ray critically getting that kill for his Talia, ending up being a 2-for-1 in the bot side, and I think you're just going to have to be happy with what you can get.
Despite the kill lead this game, this one is dead even. I think we're seeing that coordination I was talking about. Upbusters, any time that they need help, somebody's there. They're able to, I think, effectively communicate plays ahead of time. The Jin Zhao invade that Apari did on the Raptors was a great look, but then Akali and Nefiri come in to collapse and ends up getting the kill in return.
Tuxedo really can't play on this wave because Lift is in the area. Looks like it's probably gone by now. Dark Dagger was just part of the connection, and it looks like that Mike going for another invade, trying to get a bit back, and I'm not sure if he did. I think he did, was able to get his Raptor camps back, but notably Lithy in the area, and so it looks like that Mike's actually going to get punished because Ray has arrived as well, doesn't have flash, and can't really safeguard the Iron Will or safeguard the safety, and yeah, it looks like that's going to be a kill onto him. Lithy's picking up that kill, but Daniel in the area, but however, this is a 4v3, so I'm not quite sure if you really want to take it. Let's actually just be on the wrong side of things, as he does actually use the Shuriken Flip to keep himself safe with the Twilight Shroud as well. And probably just going to walk himself out as the right. He's probably going to be slain. We have a fight here at the top side as Dark and Dagger is coming through for the side of Blake, and maybe he can try to get something done here. The Eviscerate and the flash forward from Tugs, but actually it's going to be the call of the pack to take down Tugs in the end. A killing spree for Blake now as he's really turned around this lane.
Great flash coming out from Blake there to dodge the Q3. It would have guaranteed the ultimate.
The current college he's popped out, and it looks like that the 44 has broken out, and maybe they're looking for the way, but guess what, the Spiraling Despair has landed, and a really beautiful Dragon's Rage from Mike, knocking up multiple members, and oh my goodness, that was beautiful, as the Resonating Strike comes through, and Daniel picking himself up, a triple, a quadra kill for the Akali in the mid lane.
Evening out the kills, but a huge lead in gold for the side of the Nutbusters. The Mountain Dragon notably did go over to SKT, but that is not what you want to see. Akali is one of the characters that is most able to snowball games. Just completely force kills wherever she goes. 9 Darksteel stacks, 4 kills. All eyes are on Daniel, I think, to see what happens from that quadra kill that is set up by the rest of her team there with the beautiful kick, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that kick was actually one of the best kicks I've seen. I mean, they lined up perfectly for it, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to like play around because you can't normally you're not ever thinking about it, and they weren't thinking about it. I mean, Mike hit that kick, knocked up both the Talia, or excuse me, knocked up. Well, he ended up just knocking up the remaining 2 members of NYNB as well, alongside the person who kicked, able to get kills out of it. Really well played from him. It looks like that Tutsuki might be in a danger. He actually burns the soul unbound, but the Dark Daggers are here, and Mike actually is in the AO, and it looks like that the flash forward safeguard actually out to get the Tempest, along with the kill is going to be going over to Mike. Apari might just be a bit dangerous here. Doesn't have the wind becomes lightning. Maybe an audacious charge. Resonating Strike actually connects on the call of the pack is here, but Mike living with a blinking HP bar, but maybe Lithy can snipe it out with a Severing Bolt. Severing Bolt does actually connect, and bang! Down goes Mike. Lithy getting that kill.
Great follow-up from Lithy. Ends up getting the kill and collecting this wave here. Akali comes up as well, but won't be able to get anything, so you don't get the usual punishment of losing a plating and a wave or 2 that you get for roaming as a mid laner. Doesn't have TP to get back though, so you will end up losing it. It'll just be a little bit delayed. That would have been an opportunity. I think you need to have Tugs on the Yone, collect the mid wave, get one more top wave on Lithy, and then rotate the players back into their usual lanes there. that kind of miscommunicated or just lack of rotation really ends up costing a plate. Probably half of a wave looks out of SKT.
Costing SKT, but this is, at the end of the day, a very sizable lead.
Full Gunblade on Akali.
A really nice purchase.
Full Profane Hydra.
Yeah, with Dark Seal
On
stacks as
Lee Sin.
well. Dude,
I mean,
it's actually going to go wild with the headbutt pulverize actually leaning on the Ray. I mean, he does have the box and chooses to use it. The Resonating Strike, if you're Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike actually connects onto the side of Nevada, but Vlad does critically have flash and is going to flash away. Dragon's Ray is still available to be used. Headbutt into the wall, Resonating Strike, and just going to be the fourth shot. That's going to be the kill. But Daniel going to be sending it through, and the Shuriken Flip actually barely missing, but maybe still able to do something. Gunblade shot with another 5-point strike, another Q, and a 5-point strike. Ignite. Lift unstoppable in this game so far, taking down Lifty in the mid lane with a solo kill.
those Dark Seal stacks end up being the difference there. Even if you just have the Gunblade advantage, I think your damage is just barely shy because the Shuriken Flip was missed. But having an extra 9 Dark Seal stacks will do wonders for your damage. Up to a full 10 now. I'd be interested to see whether or not offensive or defensive itemization comes out here from the side of...
Right here, Soul Bound, Exhaust gets burned, actually wait, but there's no way that Blade can actually just dodge away that Q3 because he used the W way too early, and that's going to actually be a solo kill for Tugs with a shutdown, a very huge shutdown to boot.
Big shutdown, 640 gold coming up the side of Tugs on SKT. I think though, 2 lethality characters coming to your lane in the Nefiri and the Lee Sin, I'd love to see some early defense items. It's quite hard. You don't have much flexibility on the side of Yoni Yasuo's itemization.
Trample Stun is available, he's going to choose not to opt into continue, as they are going to be able to ward him away with their balls of Mike in the area, but a Flash Pulverize actually not even being close, and it looks like the headbutt going in as well as he knocks Vada into the wall, but nothing's going to happen here. He has Sonic Wave not able to connect, the Deadly Flourish nowhere in the area as well, but the seismic toss actually really nice from the side of Nevada. The Death Sentence having to be flashed away from, but now Liffy has joined the fray, and maybe we might have a fight break out here, but I'm not quite sure. Both teams a bit cautious of each other. It looks like, yeah, and New York Nutbusters trying to wisely back away. But, however, actually a really nice stun, seismic toss along with the Unraveled Earth, and a really nice Crescent Guard to boot as well, taking down Mike. And it looks like that PB might be in a bit of trouble with the Unbreakable Will. I mean, the Lift should be able to, Daniel should be able to join the fight shortly, as we do have another fight on the top side of things. But like, meanwhile, breaking down, is this fight that could possibly break out? But no, they're going to wisely and decisively move away from that fight. Blake actually able to survive in the top side fight that was happening. And at the end of the day, a dragon being netted for the side of SKT, their second of the game.
You cannot give this shutdown if you are playing Akali here.
The call of the pack, and Tito using the Soul Down to burn away, and Blake probably just trying to get him away from his turret.
I think it's correct to not look for something there if you're in NYNB. I think you could see before the fight happened a lot of pings that the enemy had vision. Nutbusters knew that if Akali roamed, SKT would know and they would stop the play. So decided just to go for the mid wave, but unfortunately the rest of the team was playing just in range of the initiation from SKT. Really great capitalization on that from SKT's bot lane.
Yeah, perfect execution is going to come through. The Shuriken Flip actually landing critically onto a minion. However, Ray is in the area, and maybe the Threshold is enough, but a really nice flash actually from Daniel to dodge away from the Death Sentence. It looks like that Mike has also arrived, and a Sonic Wave connecting onto Apari, but you probably don't want to take it onto that target. And with the Thresh Flay up, the Thresh Flay being used, it would probably have been a good, maybe a good play with a insect possibly available. But look at that, Ray has been discovered by the Alistair, but just going to wisely get himself away.
You need to buy some defense if you're into this high burst team in the Nutbusters comp. But SKT is having a hard time deciding. I think you need to buy magic resist for the Akali, you need to buy armor for the lethality, Lee Sin, and Nefiri. I think it's just too hard to itemize this game when there's this many fed members. I think the overall acceleration of the game is going to be favoring the Nutbusters here.
Yeah, actually, I mean, there's going to be the ultimate coming out from Tuxedo, not quite connecting. And actually, there's the call to pack follow up, and Mike's actually nearby, but so is a priority. but maybe this is actually just a really good play as the Crescent Guard, really flash Crescent Guard actually knocking back Mike, but he still does have the safeguard to get himself to safety, and he does. Keep himself alive.
Both jungler
But
flashes
Blake
and
actually getting
used.
hit by the flash, the flash mortal steal from the side of Tuxedo, but not quite getting the kill. And it looks like that the clear will arrive as well. But Mike, Sonic Wave connect and Resonating Strike to take down the party. As it looks like that Blake also going to be slain. And it looks like it's just Daniel plus Mike in this fight. But there comes the knockup and there comes the perfect execution. Daniel, godlike in this game so far. 7-0 on the Akali. And it looks like that Ray going to have to be running for the hills. I mean, the Flay is there, but it looks like that nothing else will happen. I mean, Ray playing but dangerously. That's Akali quite strong with the Ignite still available. It looks like they might just go for the dive. The Unbreakable Will is available, but maybe okay, things look be fine because PB does have the headbutt, keep himself safe. But a really nice response from NYNB at SKT's play.
Yeah, it looked for a moment there like SKT was going to get to clean up those kills, but more and more people kept flooding into that fight one at a time. Really chaotic and hectic. Everyone moving to the top side of the map for that play. Ends up going in the favor of the Nutbusters. 2 minutes until this Infernal Dragon spawns. Everyone's eyes will be on this. Akali is so fed, looking to complete their second item in the Shadow Flame before this dragon spawns. Second item already complete from Lee Sin.
And House Pursuit, who dodge away again from that Q3 as we're talking about. Nice deadly flourish to cancel Luffy's base. Look at that. And actually, Luffy just need to dive. I mean, Mike's in the AO, and it looks like the Sonic Wave connects, Resonating Strike, bang. I mean, the Dark Passage not quite in time, and actually Daniel not getting hit critically by the Wind Becomes Lightning. Has the Shuriken flip available. The Perfect Execution is also available. Daniel now legendary so far in this game. Actually going for more with the Perfect Execution, second part of it, as the Unraveled Earth Seismic Toss actually going to hit onto Daniel. But he's in a bit of trouble here because flashing forward is Ray. The shutdown actually going over critically for Nevada, but here is Mike, and he's looking for something, but the box is thrown down. Sonic Wave going to go wide again, another Seismic Toss, but a really nice kick from Mike actually to do a ton of damage to Nevada, and the Seraph Shield is popped, but here comes Mike with the Tempest, and a killing spree for him as well. Meanwhile, it looks like that PB decided to get executed by the turret. Down goes Ray, a double kill over to Mike, and NYNB might have just found another perfect response to SKT's plays.
I mean, that once again looked like it could have gone from bad to worse for NYNB. Giving over that huge shutdown on the Akali is not what you want to see, but ends up getting 2 return kills for it. It's not nearly as sad as you would have been. It looked for a moment like Mike on the least was going to die, but waiting out the Q2 ends up getting the kill.
As
Probably gets no assists on those kills notably, so the Dark Shield's down to 5 stacks. Doesn't get that little bit of extra income that would have meant getting your...
Ray actually might just be caught out here. I mean, this 5-point strike slow, and it looks like the Weave Ball might be able to do something, but no, the Shuriken flip to connect over, as it looks like that with the Gunblade, perfect execution, second part of it, along with another 5-point strike. Down goes Nevada, alongside her support, and very unfortunate timing for Ray. I mean, he didn't really have anyone there to walk in with him to cut the vision down. However, on the meanwhile, on the bot side, it looks like that Liffy might be in a bit of trouble. Yeah, the call attack actually being just spammed on the head of Liffy. Dark and Daggers with Ignite, just taking him down, and Tuxedo might be looking for a chase here, might be able to get it. And there's the Fate Shield coming out with the Soul Unbound. The exhaust is burned. Maybe Tuxedo should be able to get it, but no. Hound's Pursuit able to keep Blake alive. So many resources being burned for the side of Tuxedo to try to get that kill, and it's just not paying out at all.
Yeah, that brief untargetability is really huge to dodge so many spells on the side of SKT, most notably this Q3 from the Yone. If you are able to land that, it guarantees the ult, but if you're able to dodge it, you're able to basically get
actually might have been a bit more than he can shoot, and I'm not sure if the snap should kill, as Ooh, very close with a blinking HP bar. Blake trying to give himself away. Looks like he will have to see this bot lane turret.
Blue team's turret has been
I was gonna say, the
destroyed.
Fury just having the ability to dodge the Q3 makes Yone have to play
He
in
actually
ways
gets a bit of trouble.
really
Suddenly connects, and a really nice insect from that side. As it looks like that Liv should be able to dodge and actually just uses the gunblade plus the 5-point strike to get a kill. Looks like that probably might be in a bit of danger as well. I mean, he burns the custom guard, but maybe it's just a bit too early because in goes the Akali with a perfect execution. The first part of it, the current call has opened up, raising a bit of danger, but it looks like that he should be able to keep himself safe. Forward shot of the current call connecting, but notably on the great front. And Lift going maybe way too far. I'm surprised he's not punished for that. Flashes away from the perfect execution. The shuriken flip, I actually didn't see that it landed onto Nevada. Able to get a kill here, but giving another shutdown over to Nevada.
Khalid's getting quite big, collecting 2 big shutdowns here, opting for the Zanya's third item.
He might be in a bit of danger here. So safe.
Very high action
He
game.
as well, and I'm not sure if you really need to go for this, as it looks like that. I mean, Nevada has just doomed himself to die, and I mean, yeah, the Sonic Wave connects. I mean, there's Resonating Strike. Mike now dominating in this game so far. Tuxedo, it looks like that he's just tried to enter here for me to get a kill. Fatal actually landing onto PB, and Tuxedo just getting taken down at the end of all of it, and they do pick a PB with the play damage, but guess what? You're dying as well, buddy. So now, Archived on a rampage in this game, and
Huge overextension coming over from the side of SKT. You got away with a fairly even or maybe even favored result. You're gonna have more people on the map coming out of base. You had the tempo to set up for whatever the next play is, but ends up sacrificing it all to just try to get more kills, try to close the gap. Ends up widening it instead.
and so far for defensive options, I mean, we are starting to see something. We do see that CP Alarm Guard being purchased by Nevada, but they're not continuing to build the rest of the zoning. Instead, I'm not quite sure.
Is this
they are
Crypt
doing.
Bloom or is this Horizon Focus, do you think, on Liffey's Way?
I think this is. I think it's probably Horizon's Focus, which I actually don't love. I actually think that this game specifically, I think that actually going just a second, like a defensive item secondary is probably what you should do on Hwei this game. I mean, they already are, like have like so much dive and damage. Like I think just going to zone this here is actually perfect. And that item also has just a ton of AP in itself. It's just not bad to have. But it's going to be opting into, I guess, getting that extra CBR, but there's still extra codexes, which is always nice to play because it is nice to just have the ability of time be higher.
More haste is great on Hwei. Gives you more rotations of your spells. If you get to that 100% uptime on the QE, it gets really hard to play fights into the Hwei. Also helps with his mana sustain, which is kind of surprising considering usually more haste means you're spending more mana. You also get more back with Hwei's WE, giving a refund on 3 hits.
It's going to be found out here with that Dark Passage vision and the damage going down, but Tuxedo, notably just going for this top tier 2, saying, I don't really need to fight. And I mean, yeah, it is only for second break. It looks like that lift has just found a party here. And yeah, the perfect execution, 5-point strike. He's just going to be falling down easily. And it looks like that actually using those waste spells is PB, and that's really nice. But Unravel, their Focusizing Cog actually doing a decent amount of damage. The turn call opens up, but guess what? It looks like that they have just found the rest of SKT in the backside and burning that Zoni's Hourglass, but I'm not sure if he's really going to be long, or excuse me, if she's going to be really long for that world, and maybe it looks like actually lift, but no, the Deadly Flourish on the end of it, as Archive now unstoppable in this game, and it looks like that PB should fall down for it. However, it looks like that they will just end up getting 4 kills. However, Tuxedo getting that top tier 2 at the end of it, even though they do get the second Infernal Drake of the game.
Very hectic fight. I mean, Tugs is splitting in the top lane. If you're most, it's not their most fed member, but it's quite a strong member for the side of SKT, isn't present, you have to just give the objective.
Actually,
He's
Daniel
walking in a
I
dangerous
mean,
way.
Tuxedo just having so much damage here. I mean, the Fate Seal should be enough, and yeah, he gets it shut down over to Tuxedo. Daniel not respecting the damage of the Yone. I mean, the Yone's are 2 levels up, and probably the strongest member of that team.
Getting that kill is huge. Akali has the Zanya's Hourglass. I'm not sure if they had it before they went back to base through dying, but been a great time to use it if it was available, or if there's a Seeker's Aura on road up. Might have opted for the needlessly large rod over Seeker's Arm Guard, though. Right, a little bit more damage makes you quite vulnerable.
Tuxedo, just to fight anyone you can, and
Nasher is up, no dragon for 3 minutes. This is kind of a window where, as long as you have decent control over the map, no team is able to start something, I don't think. Just a window to catch back up.
actually Rage is going to be found out at the end of it, and yeah, Rage is going to fall down. And Mike also taking the Sonic Wave, and it does get stunned at the end of the Ravel Up, but there's the Insect actually right back to Apari. Not able to really do anything. The custom guard's going to be burned, but it doesn't really matter. Does the Deadly Flourish on top. I mean, it's just 3 kills for like no one's HP bar even at the end of all of it. So
I mean, what a dangerous look. There's nothing on the bot side of the map to even look for. You're walking into the river, 3 minutes till dragon, you don't need to set up vision. Just give over 3 kills for nothing. Not what you want to see if you're an SKT fan in this game.
At all. It looks like the Baron Nashor slowly but surely is going to start to be slain and taken. Actually, a really nice play actually from the side of SKT, able to keep off Blake in that fight. Maybe like he just goes for more. I mean, the Baron Nashor is slaying at the end of the day. Unbreakable will, as you probably don't want to be going out, but no, the perfect execution is taking out Tuxedo, and he's not able to. You can fight, like, you know, kill many people, a couple people, but you can't kill them all. As Lift going in, trying to go more damage. I mean, the play is a really nice interrupt onto that. As the Death Sentence lands back on the mic, and maybe this actually is just a kill, but with the safeguard, able to keep himself safe. And the Shuriken Flip should be able to follow, and yes, it does. And Daniel with another kill in this fight. I mean, the Jin's just free hitting in the back, double kill over the Daniel. Looks like that. The Alistair will pick up the ace.
Oh my word.
And it's just, yeah, I don't really see a path to victory. I mean, like, we saw like the Yone just get completely blown up in that fight. It's not really playable in any case.
I mean, I think it was anyone's game 2 minutes ago. I think really they just let everything slip from their hands. They had a pretty close, I think it was 4K, maybe 5K gold lead for the side of the Nutbusters, but you have this Yone who's shown that they can beat anyone inside. If you just are able to play slow for 3 minutes the next dragon, you're able to close the gap considerably, I think. But just end up losing 2 back-to-back fights, losing the Baron Nashor. You're surely going to lose this dragon now. I think this is going to be very hard for SKT to do anything in this game now.
Very hard to do anything. And Tuxedo is looking for a solo play. Maybe he can find something, but no. Well, that's going to be available. On the Q3, the plate still just flash away from Call the Pack right on top. Tuxedo actually probably just going to hit back Blake in the face, and he does actually. Actually, he should just get out of this with the Q3, and yeah, that's probably just going to be it. I mean, the Shuriken Flip is there. I mean, available for Daniel, trying to look for the Thresh, but actually doesn't finish off right at the end of it. Looks like the perfect execution. Maybe he can finally finish off the man, and yes, he does finally. PB will help pick that up. One becomes lightly on top, but Mike is now just legendary in this game. I mean, like, you threw the kitchen sink at him, and they just broke it in half.
I mean, I hate to point it out, but it's another overextension. Tugs goes for a 1v3 play, gets the kill, and Ray on the Thresh and Nevada on the Talia come in, create the space he needs for him to walk out of there alive. But we continue the play, we force the play, and end up losing 2 people for it. Not happy with getting a small victory, just has led to major defeats and having a otherwise winnable game slip from your hands, I think.
Yeah, with this, but however, with this, you know, this Yone so strong at the side. With this game, it might be something to be able to do too. I mean, like going really aggressively for something, and actually probably just in a lot of trouble. I mean, able to survive the dark dagger. No, bait tilt on top. There's actually another solo kill, but the Shuriken Flip does land on the Tuxedo. I mean, you really can't, it's hard to do anything. It's hard. He actually is able to kill off Daniel here as he's looking for something, but no. The Assassin's Mark auto able to take him down. Daniel back on a rampage.
But they're having to send 5 people to that play. The amount of space that Tug is able to create for his team is immense. If they play around this Yone being able to create so much pressure in the sideline. I think there might actually still be a window of opportunity here.
Yeah, window opportunity there is, and because the pulverize actually lands onto Ray, and the spell shield actually being broken away by the wind becomes lightning. But however, Apari is so weak. I mean, a flash insect is why not? Just the extra disrespect. Mike remaining to be legendary in this game. Doing so much heavy
Easy chain
lifting.
making it so that you're not able to reach the lanterns given to you there. Very unfortunate for Apari,
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed. And
but
there's
very
multiple
well played from the
wards.
side of the Nutbusters.
Multiple wards just dropped on top of the Dark Passage as well. Like, he's something else here. I mean, he actually gets hit, but he actually still has his Resonating Strike available to take. He took it, and Nevada having a flash away critically. It looks like that Ray's probably just going to die for the sins of his bottom laner as Weasel comes out, but Nevada being finished at the end of it. Tuxedo being hit up in a CC chain as looks like that Liffy being solo chased alone, and I'm not sure there's anything else they can really do. I mean, they might be able to hold this. They should actually be able to hold this.
I
with the
imagine this is game.
Maybe with the play wave clear, they
3v5 scenario for the side of SKT. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold here.
Got Atari able alive. Looking to go in, but actually the Deadly Flourish connects so much CC on top of this guy. When he exhausts the Alice, that's not the direction you want to exhaust. And looking at that, they're just going for a bit more here. I mean, the Filing Despair lands, but not able to be effective at all. I mean, Apari is just sitting in this fountain, taking a lot of kills. Horton may hear something, but all you can hear is a deafening silence as things continue to fall down in this game, as the city crumbles around them. A triple kill for Archive, as slowly but surely that's going to be the 2-0 victory for NYNB. A very convincing game, but in both of them, notably.
On the state of Scrims, Apari mentioned that haters fuel him and make him stronger. Maybe me, you, and Snow believing that it was going to be 2-1 for SKT weakened them. And us doubting the Nutbusters ended up fueling them, giving them a 2-0 victory. Very decisive victories as well. I'm starting to see the Nutbusters that were able to go through the upper bracket to finals in Season 10. Dominant performance coming out from them.
I mean,
very
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, and I think Mike had just two very good games as well. The Viego game was really good, and I think this Lee Sin game was extremely good. I mean, he did make some early mistakes in the early plays, but I think the big thing, however, despite him going for those plays, them not working out, he still stayed relatively ahead in farm of his opponent the entire time.
He also would like to point out, aside from the 6th death fountain diving at the end of the game, didn't die for the last, I want to say, 20 minutes of the game. Had an early game where he was making a lot of 1-for-1 plays, making it so that he's just kind of accelerating the pace of the game, increasing the total gold in the game through 1-for-1s. And after that kind of lead developed for his team, never let go of it, never gave a shutdown, never died. So I'd actually nominate for MVP Mike in that game too.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think Mike was just don't get me wrong, Daniel had a great performance on the Akali.
Excellent Akali performance.
Yeah, key
probably
assassinations.
the best one we've seen this season.
Yeah. But I think that Mike just played so well, in just multiple scenarios. I mean, I think that just the way he kind of played the map was just very intelligently. Despite things not being a very convincing win in multiple plays, he still was able to stay ahead. Found a lot of key kicks, insects as well, onto multiple members. That huge kick in that one fight, I think, was just so got them so far ahead.
That got the ball rolling for Akali as well.
Yeah.
Great game from everyone on the Nutbusters, though. I once again want to highlight the level of coordination I can tell is happening just from spectating their games. It seems like they send the right amount of people to every play. It seems like they're not losing gold on the map, overcommitting to plays. It seems like they're not losing fights, undercommitting to plays. That game genuinely felt like they were in control basically the whole time. The only kind of caveat to that was Tugs in the side lane able to continuously win fights and get 1-for-1s in outmanned situations. But apart from them maybe not responding to tugs properly. I think every single large play that they made was just executed as a team very, very well. Who might we bring in for an interview?
Let's bring in I would really be curious to hear from actually I really do want to question the jungler, so if Mike can get in here, that'd be really awesome. If he can. Really like to talk
No,
to Mike.
you're only gonna be able to talk to me.
Oh, okay. I guess they're just sending him.
None of
No one else
none of
wanted to
those
go?
people are media. None of them are media trained besides potentially Blake.
Okay, well, I guess we have PB in
Okay.
here.
No
Oh,
media training then. That kind of would make it more fun though, wouldn't it?
yeah, that would
No,
kinda make
Dan's
it
just
more
gonna
fun.
sit there and complain that he didn't get MVP. Mike's and Blake are both gonna say that they want to be playing Deadlock instead.
Well, Deadlock is the better game.
Nice.
Um. Yeah. Well. Anyway, PB, you had a vote, by the way. Just want to say that was the Recon game, very excellent. Alistair game, also excellent. I mean, what were the comms like going for like a lot of these like early key plays in the game? I feel like you guys were. I mean, Sandy said it. You guys seem to be really coordinated. I mean, can you just like tell us like about that coordination specifically?
A lot of the laning, well, especially in the Recon game, it was just like keeping track of like what spells the Janna didn't have, or just like anytime, because there was a lot of times where the Janna was going out of position. So it'd be like anytime the Janna went out of position, like okay, we're instantly engaging. And the level 1, I kind of just figured like we're not gonna have like the best scenarios at like levels 3 to really start getting kills. So I'm just like, just flip it with both of our W's on level 1, get as much damage down, and try and snowball the lane from there.
Yeah, that was a great call. It paid off tremendously. I think between that level 1 fight and the Garen invade, you guys were just winning every part of the map super, super early, which allowed you to snowball your lead in game 1. Game 2 was a little bit closer. You guys didn't establish that early lead. You at one point were behind a lot of kills, but we're still even in gold. I'd like to kind of know, was the team keeping a cool head despite the early kill lead in game 2? Were you guys still kind of coordinated on what the next play was? You guys obviously brought the kill lead back when the second dragon fight happened, and there was the great kick, and then the quadra kill for Akali. Kind of what was going on at the beginning of game 2 when the lead was in their favor, and then when you got it back?
I mean, I think there was one comm that I said to Archived when I think the Talia was like 3-0-1, where I'm just like, you know, they might be having all those kills, but Archive was up like 20 to 30 CS at that point. So I'm like, the gold's going to be pretty much even anyway. So there's just like no reason to really like worry with how the situation is kind of. And then the good thing about like that drag was that like Mike died before that. So, and we were able to stall enough for him to get back. And that was kind of like the play, just like wait for Mike to get back and then we'll be able to go in and get a quad kind of easily. I mean, it was just constantly like just staying calm. We knew like we could easily get back into the game, no problem.
Yeah, you definitely showed that was the case.
A lot of the game was just, you know, like being relaxed, not thinking. We didn't really think about like how our record's been so far. I'm not thinking about that. Just keep playing every week, get better and better, and get a solid foundation for the playoff.
Yeah, you guys are in a great position now, 2-4, but you notably have the head-to-head against the other 2-win team. So if both of you keep the same amount of wins, it'll actually be you guys moving up to playoffs. So this, I think, is a monumental win for you guys. 2 series coming up. Y'all will be playing against QC and Metabusters. Tell me, are you worried about these series? Is there any sort of plans that you guys have that you can tell us a little bit about? What's the mindset going to these 2 series before playoffs?
What's Metabusters roster been? I haven't really been paying attention to like. Is it like they're Tusini?
They've changed it up a bit. Tusini's played sometimes, Snow's played sometimes. But it seems like they're typically running Foudre Jungle, Corn Top, Stav ADC, and then Jacob support with either Snow or Tusini in the mid lane.
Hmm. Snow is the scarier player, but like the other roster with Tusini is just like the vintage roster that's like really good. So it's hard to say. They're gonna be fun to play against, and playing against QC is gonna be fun too, especially with them making the trade. Well, I shouldn't say making the trade, getting the generous donation. I think that's the proper
The
term.
generous donation. Alec, I'm kind of
Very
gonna,
generous.
have a pre-series kind of one-on-one interview question here. You're on QC. You'll be playing against NYNB. What are you thinking now that you've seen this performance about that series coming up?
Dude, we're cooked, bro. No, no, but honestly, I feel like it's gonna be a really exciting series. I'm really, I don't, I don't know. It should be really exciting. The series. I mean, I'm hopeful that like my team like plays very well. I think my team normally does play very well. When on a good day, I feel like we haven't had some good days, but I think we are gonna have some good days shortly. Scotty's always a great, like, a fun person that's fun to play with. So at the very least, I hope that, like, if anything, I hope that we have a fun time. If anything else.
That's good to hear. Do you have any questions left for PB?
No, I don't really have any questions left for PB. I mean, PB, anything you want to say? Any shout outs, anything like that?
Archive, big time. He's been like really playing better. Like last week was a great series from them, and he followed it up like really well with this series. I've really liked how two of our laning has gotten like better and better. I want to shout out Mike for coming out of a retirement home for the couple weeks while Carrot's been doing stuff. And don't shout out Blake and Dan; those guys are Juds.
Okay. Well, I mean, there you have it. A 2-0, I would say stomps, actually, in just both games. 2-0 stomps for NYNB against SKT. Unfortunately, SKT is going to be falling to 2-4, and they don't have the head-to-head. No, and they don't have a head-to-head against NYNB. NYNB has a head-to-head over them. So, I mean, things are beginning to cook up. Tomorrow, you will be QC versus Albert's Inferno. I have that correct, right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah, okay, QC versus Albert's Inferno.
Tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
It just got rescheduled right before this game.
Yeah, casting that will be Dean. So always great to have Dean casting things. Been a bit busier, so it's gonna be fun to hear him casting a game. I mean, Dean's pretty good at casting, so should be great. I don't have anything else. I don't think Sandy has anything else. I don't think PB has anything else. That should be it for the day. So this will be goodbye. Everyone, make sure to have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And so bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.